May 2nd, 2025, marked the day a quiet Nova Scotia community was plunged into darkness. 6-year-old Lilly Sullivan and her 4-year-old brother Jack vanished from their isolated home on Gairloch Road, leaving a void filled with whispers and suspicion. Now, 2.5 months later, a new update from the Royal Canadian Mounted Police and a series of chilling voice messages from Janie McKenzie, the grandmother living on the property, have cracked the case wide open. Her words, raw and revealing, point to a truth that's both tantalizing and terrifying. What does Janie know? And why does every new clue feel like a step closer to an abyss? Stay with us, because this mystery is about to unravel in ways you won't believe. Imagine a solitary mobile home, swallowed by dense woods where cell signals fade to nothing. This is where Lilly and Jack lived with their mother, Malahia Brooks Murray, their stepfather, Daniel Martell, and their 16-month-old sister, Meadow. On that fateful morning, Malahia's frantic 911 call sparked a massive search, but all it uncovered were fragments, a torn pink blanket, a child's boot print, and a family fractured by secrets. Now, fresh evidence and Janie's voice are pulling us deeper into the unknown. What happened to Lilly and Jack? Let's dissect the truth, piece by haunting piece. Before we dive in, don't turn away from Lilly and Jack. Their faces haunt us, and their story demands justice. Hit that subscribe button and ring the bell right now. Don't wait, because every subscriber brings us closer to keeping their names alive. If you hesitate, you're letting their mystery fade into the shadows. We're untold crimes and affairs, and we're fighting for 50,000 subscribers by year's end. Join us, or the truth might slip away forever. On July 16, 2025, the RCMP delivered a long-awaited update on the disappearance of Lilly and Jack Sullivan, led by Staff Sergeant Rob McCammon of the Northeast Nova Major Crime Unit. Broadcast through news outlets, the statement is a sobering snapshot of an investigation stretched thin.
The Nova Scotia RCMP's intensive investigation into the disappearance of Lilly and Jack Sullivan continues. The investigative team in the Northeast Nova RCMP Major Crimes Unit is leading the investigational efforts under the Missing Persons Act. They are assisted by RCMP units in Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and Ontario, along with the National Centre for Missing Persons and Unidentified Remains, the Canadian Centre for Child Protection, and provincial and municipal police agencies from Nova Scotia and other parts of Canada. Their efforts include reviewing approximately 5,000 video files that have been obtained through a video canvas of Lansdowne Station and the surrounding areas, assessing more than 600 tips from the public, formally interviewing more than 60 people, including the administration of polygraph tests to some individuals, forensic examination of materials located through ground and air searches in Lansdowne Station, including a pink blanket that officers seized on Lansdowne Road, and submitting judicial authorizations to seize and examine materials and devices that may provide information useful to the investigation. Right now, there are more than 800 tasks associated to this investigation. A tremendous amount of careful, deliberate investigative work is underway by people here at home and in other parts of Canada. Our collective efforts will continue every day until we determine with certainty the circumstances surrounding Lilly and Jack's disappearance. Investigators encourage anyone with specific information on the whereabouts of Lilly and Jack to call the Northeast Nova RCMP Major Crime Unit. To remain anonymous, contact Nova Scotia Crime Stoppers either by phone, through their website, or use the P3 Tips app.
People close to the investigation have expressed concern that the case now lacks urgency. How do you respond to that?
An RCMP family liaison is in regular contact with a designated relative of Lilly and Jack. The RCMP family liaison provides ongoing updates and support to the family so that they are aware of what is going on with the investigation and the information that can be provided to them. The family liaison officer is a member of Major Crimes. So information is absolutely provided to the family through the people who have been designated to share those communications.
Operating under the Missing Persons Act, the RCMP has enlisted units from Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and Ontario, alongside the National Centre for Missing Persons and Unidentified Remains and the Canadian Centre for Child Protection. They have sifted through 5,000 video files from Lansdowne Station's sparse cameras, chased over 600 public tips, and conducted over 60 formal interviews, some involving polygraph tests. Over 800 investigative tasks are active, with judicial authorizations, likely search warrants, seizing devices and materials that could hold answers. Yet, here's the heart-wrenching truth. Despite this colossal effort, the RCMP is no closer to finding Lilly and Jack. McCammon's words are resolute but hollow. A tremendous amount of careful, deliberate investigative work is underway, and our efforts will continue until we determine with certainty what happened. The community, aching for answers, fears the case is losing steam. The RCMP insists a family liaison officer keeps a designated relative, perhaps Malehia, Daniel, or another, updated. But who is this relative? And why, with 5,000 videos and 600 tips, are we still grasping at shadows? One clue, though, refuses to fade. The pink blanket. Its story is growing stranger, and it's where we turn next. Lilly and Jack are out there, waiting for someone to care enough to act. Don't be the one who looks away. Subscribe now and hit the bell. Every second you delay, their story risks being forgotten. Join our fight for justice, or let their voices be silenced forever. The pink blanket found on Lansdowne Road is more than evidence. It's a riddle that defies reason. The RCMP's July 16th update confirms they're forensically examining materials from ground and air searches, with the blanket at the center. Found a mile from the Sullivan home near a natural gas pipeline, it's a haunting link to Lilly. But its journey, from a trash bin to a tree, raises questions that chill the bone. Why is this blanket, 2.5 months later, still under scrutiny? And why does every detail about it deepen the mystery? Let's unravel this, thread by thread. Start with Malehia's account. She told police the blanket was Lilly's, but claimed it was torn and discarded in the garbage before the disappearance. A dispatch recording, shared recently, captures officers finding it just off Lansdowne Road, alongside torn clothing in an area already searched. Malehia, through her half-sister Haley Ferdinand, confirmed it was Lilly's. But how did a discarded blanket travel a mile through dense, muddy woods? The terrain, rife with thick brush and steep creeks, rules out wind as a culprit. A heavier revelation complicates things further. Half the blanket was found tangled in a tree near an ATV trail, while the other half was in the Sullivan home's trash, allegedly used to cover a window. This split is no accident. It's a clue screaming for attention. Let's explore the ATV trail. The blanket's tree-bound half suggests movement, perhaps caught during a hurried transport. Was it used to conceal or comfort Lilly and Jack, snagging as someone fled along the trail? The other half, in the trash, points to an attempt to erase evidence. But here's a twist. An ATV on the Sullivan property, photographed by the National Post, was suspiciously clean. No mud, despite Daniel's claims of searching muddy woods. He even said Lilly's backpack would likely have mud. Could the ATV have been used to move the kids or evidence, then washed to hide traces? The blanket's dual locations, tree and trash, feel orchestrated. as if someone wanted to suggest the kids wandered off while minimizing the blanket's importance. Now, Daniel Martel's role. He initially told reporters the blanket wasn't Lily's, only to later admit it was. Why the reversal? Was he caught off guard or deliberately deflecting? The dispatch clip shows officers discussing the blanket with Malehia, who confirmed its ownership, yet Daniel's early denial sows doubt. The RCMP's delayed forensic testing, only now analyzing the blanket, raises more questions. Are they searching for DNA, blood, traces of decomposition? The absence of cadaver dogs, which could have sniffed out such evidence on the property, vehicles, or even the ATV, feels like a critical oversight. With 300 million scent receptors, a dog could have detected what humans missed. Why the delay? And why does the blanket, a supposed key, yield no answers? Every clue, like this blanket, is a lifeline for Lily and Jack. Don't let it slip away. Subscribe now and ring the bell. Failing to act means abandoning two kids who need you. Their fate hangs in the balance, and your support could make the difference. The blanket is a paradox, half in a tree, half in the trash, found in a searched area alongside a child's boot print, possibly Lily's or Jack's. Malehia's claim it was discarded. Daniel's shifting story. Was it planted to mislead, suggesting the kids wandered off? Or does it trace a darker path, a hurried escape, a cover-up gone wrong? This blanket holds secrets, but another voice is speaking louder, and her words are shaking the case to its foundation. Janie Mackenzie, Daniel Martel's mother, lives in an RV mere steps from the Sullivan trailer, a silent witness to the events of May 2nd, 2025. Her voice messages, recently shared widely, offer a first-hand glimpse into that morning. But like every clue in this case, her words are a labyrinth, detailed yet vague, compelling yet contradictory. As true detectives, let's dissect her account moment by moment to uncover what she's revealing and what she might be hiding. Janie's story could unlock the truth, or it could be a carefully spun tale. Let's dive in.
Around 12 o'clock to go to Patty's to do laundry. They didn't get home till 10 o'clock. The reason I know is my dog barked and let me know. I opened up my door. I said to Daniel, I said, "You're getting home kind of late, aren't you?" He said, "I would have been home a lot earlier." Thursday morning, they didn't go to school. I heard they went to town. I don't know where they went. I don't know what they bought. Nothing. And then I come out of the train. I heard the kids outside, and I opened up the door. Jack and Lily were right out here by the playhouse. If you look at the Google map between the playhouse and the woodshed where the swings are, they were out there looking for worms and centipedes. Because when I opened up the door, Jack said, "Look, I found a worm. I found a centipede." I said, "Good boy." I said, "You keep looking." Then I went out. I started raking up the yard here for leveling out for a swimming pool for the kids, because I was going to put one up this year. Waiting for Daniel to help me build the fence because he had to go look for his tools. Then after that, when Daniel came and helped me with put the 2x4s up, or the boards up on the fence, I continued with the fence. Then I came back in to get something to eat. I don't know what time the kids went inside or what time they went to bed or anything. And then Friday morning, I get up at 6 o'clock. I sat here and I played on Facebook. I sent a thing to my brother at 6:24. And then 7 o'clock, I went out and I did up the chickens. And I came back in. I sat here. I played on Team U, which is the worst thing you can get addicted to. And then my brother called me at 8:48. Talked for 2 minutes and 59 seconds. He asked me if I was going to town. I said no. I said I'm staying home. I'm going back to bed to have a sleep. I went back to bed. It wasn't long after that. I can't tell you how long. I laid there for a little while playing on Facebook. I dozed off. I heard the dog bark. The kids were outside. I heard the kids. And then after that, I didn't hear nothing. Everything just went completely silent. And I don't know how long after that, I heard Daniel yelling for the kids. I figured he was yelling at the kids to get inside, or Jack was letting my chickens out, which he usually does. He let them out a few times. So I figured Daniel was getting mad at him for that. See Malaya at the end of the driveway. Malaya was seen in front of my RV when I opened the door about 5 or 10 minutes after Daniel was hollering for the kids. I opened the door and Malaya was standing in front of my RV. And I asked her what was up. She said the kids are missing. I said how long? She said 20 minutes. Okay, I already answered this question. My brother called me at 8:48 and asked me if I wanted to go to town. I said no, I was going back to bed. So I laid back down. I was playing on Facebook. I dozed off. I'm not sure what exactly time. I didn't look at the clock. My dog woke me up. I heard the kids outside. And then I dozed back off again. And the next thing you know, I heard Daniel hollering Jack and Lily's name. Then about maybe 5-10 minutes after I heard him. I'm not sure exact what time because I didn't look at the clock. And when I opened the door, Malaya was standing there in front of the RV, and I said, "What's up?" And she said, "The kids are missing. The kids, Lily and Jack, are gone." And I said, "How long?" She said, "About 20 minutes. I don't know what time I seen Malaya outside because I didn't look at the clock. I came in, I grabbed my boots, and headed up to the woods. So I gave you guys a timeline. 8:48 is when he called me. I dozed off. I don't know exactly what time I heard the kids. And according to what, if I read it correctly in the chat between Belinda and Malaya, she said that she called the 911 at about 9:40. So that's what I believe it says. You'd have to check out the conversation between Malaya and Belinda.
Janie's timeline begins early. At 6 a.m., she was up, tending to her chickens. By 6:24, she sent a Facebook message to her brother. At 7 a.m., she returned to the chickens, then settled back in her RV, engrossed in Team U, a game she calls addictive. At 8:48 a.m., her brother called, asking if she was going to town. She declined, planning to nap. She dozed off, only to be woken by her dog barking. She claims she heard Lily and Jack outside, near the playhouse by the woodshed, digging for worms and centipedes. Jack, she says, showed her a worm, and she encouraged him before raking the yard for a swimming pool, waiting for Daniel to help with a fence. This paints a quaint, ordinary morning, but the cracks appear quickly. Janie says she dozed off again after hearing the kids. Then she heard Daniel yelling for Lily and Jack, possibly angry because Jack had let her chickens out, as he'd done before. She didn't check the time, but estimates 5 to 10 minutes later, she opened her RV door and saw Malaya at the end of the driveway, phone in hand, looking stunned. Janie asked, "What's up?" Malaya replied, "The kids are missing. Lily and Jack are gone." When pressed, Malaya said they'd been gone about 20 minutes. Janie grabbed her boots and searched the woods. She references a chat between Malaya and Belinda Gray, Lily and Jack's paternal grandmother, claiming Malaya said she called 911 at 9:40 a.m. Let's analyze this, because Janie's account is a puzzle with missing pieces. First, the timeline's precision and its gaps. Janie nails specific times, 6:24 a.m., 8:48 a.m., but grows vague when it matters most. When did she hear the kids? How long was she asleep? If Malaya called 911 at 9:40 a.m. and the kids were missing for 20 minutes, That places their disappearance around 9:20 a.m. Yet Janie's dozing off feels convenient. In a small property, children's voices carry, especially Jack's, who was allegedly letting chickens out. Why didn't she check on them when her dog barked? And why wait 5 to 10 minutes after hearing Daniel yell to investigate? Was she truly asleep? Or is she glossing over a critical moment? Next, Malehia's driveway sighting. Janie says she saw Malehia alone, looking stunned, claiming the kids were gone. This aligns with Daniel's account, but clashes with Darren Geddis's explosive theory that Malehia sent the kids away with a friend to escape Daniel, and Janie caught her. Janie's voice messages don't mention a vehicle or a friend, a glaring omission if Darren's story is true. Why doesn't she confirm it? Is she protecting Malehia, as Daniel allegedly did? Or is Darren's claim a fabrication, undermined by Janie's silence? Her account also hints at tension. She asked Malehia how long the kids were missing, suggesting suspicion. Was Malehia's stunned demeanor genuine or a performance? Then, the RV cupboard. Janie previously resisted police searching her RV, citing her dog and a mysterious cupboard. In her voice messages, she insists there was nothing illegal, no drugs, no guns. But why protest if there's nothing to hide? She admits the RV was searched 3 times, possibly requiring a warrant. Did she need time to remove something, as some speculate? Her presence at the trailer when police retrieved the blanket from the trash adds another layer. She claims she was only there briefly when officers asked about the blanket, but was she privy to discussions about its other half, found in the tree? Her defensiveness about the cupboard and her vague timeline raise red flags. Is Janie a bystander, or is she guarding a secret? Janie's words could be the key to finding Lilly and Jack, or burying their truth forever. Don't let her story slip through the cracks. Subscribe now and hit the bell, because ignoring this case means turning your back on 2 missing kids. Their lives depend on voices like yours. Act now, or their hope fades. Janie's story is a detective's paradox. She offers vivid details, chickens, worms, Team U, yet blurs the critical moments. Her citing of Malehia aligns with Daniel, but sidesteps Darren's theory. Her cupboard denial feels rehearsed, and her delayed reaction to Daniel's yells is puzzling. Is she a grieving grandmother caught in the chaos, or a gatekeeper of a darker truth? Her words lead us to another shadow looming over this case. Allegations of drugs. Whispers of drug use have haunted the Sullivan case, and they're growing louder. Malehia's half-sister, Haley Ferdinand, alleged in a recorded statement that on May 3rd, the day after Lilly and Jack vanished, the family confronted Daniel Martel about his alleged drug use. She claims they heard him rummaging in the bathroom, found paraphernalia, possibly meth-related, and sparked a fiery altercation that drove Malehia to flee with Meadow. Haley alleges Daniel had been using drugs for 2 years, a secret the family knew but ignored. If true, this paints a home teetering on collapse. Let's probe deeper, because these allegations raise chilling questions about Malehia, Daniel, and the children's safety. Haley's account is explosive. She says the family heard Daniel in the bathroom, acting suspiciously. When they investigated, they allegedly found evidence of meth use, igniting a confrontation that fractured the family. Malehia, overwhelmed, took Meadow and left for her mother's, cutting off Daniel and updating her Facebook to single. Haley's outrage was clear. If you knew, why were kids living in a home with someone like that? It's a question that demands answers. In a small mobile home, could Malehia have been unaware of Daniel's alleged 2-year drug habit? Was she complicit, staying silent to preserve stability? Or was she trapped by fear, finances, or love, unable to escape until that confrontation? Let's probe Malehia's role. If Daniel was allegedly using meth, the signs, erratic behavior, paraphernalia, would be hard to miss in a confined space. Was Malehia protecting her kids by staying, hoping to manage the chaos? Or was she part of it, perhaps using drugs herself? Child Protective Services intervention, requiring supervision for Malehia with Meadow and barring Daniel from contact, suggests they suspected a toxic environment, possibly implicating both parents. Haley's allegations lack hard evidence. No drugs were confirmed by police, but Daniel's request for a drug test, dismissed by the RCMP, hints he felt the accusations' weight. And then there's Janie's RV cupboard. Her adamant denial of drugs or guns feels defensive. Was she shielding Daniel or something else? These allegations could explain why Lilly and Jack are gone, or they could be a lie hiding the truth. Don't let their story die in silence. Subscribe now and hit the bell. Every moment you hesitate, you're letting 2 children slip further from justice. Be their voice, or risk losing them forever. The alleged drug use could explain the chaos of May 2. Did it cloud someone's judgment, leading to a tragic oversight? Haley describes Daniel as running around like a madman. But was this drugs or a father's panic? The lack of concrete evidence, paraphernalia not verified, keeps these claims in limbo, but they fuel suspicion. If drugs were part of the household, they could be the key to what happened to Lilly and Jack, or a distraction from a deeper truth. Another voice, though, is stirring the pot with a theory that's impossible to ignore. Darren Geddes, Malehia's cousin twice removed, has thrust himself into the spotlight with a theory that's both bold and baffling. In a recent post, he claims Lilly and Jack are alive, hidden on the Shubenacadie Reserve with Malehia's native family, safe from Daniel. He insists Malehia moved them to escape, lying to Janie on the driveway to cover her tracks. The Lost in the Woods narrative is nonsense, he says, alleging the RCMP knows the truth, but stays silent to hide their mishandling. The kids are protected, he declares, where they belong. But these claims are unverified, and they clash with Janie's account. Let's dissect Darren's story, because it's either a breakthrough or a dangerous diversion. Darren's theory rests on Janie catching Malehia, sending the kids away with a friend. He says Malehia's only serious mistake was lying when confronted, and her custody rights mean no abduction occurred. Daniel echoed this in online chats, but Janie's voice messages don't back it up. She describes Malehia alone, stunned, saying the kids were missing. No vehicle, no friend. Why the gap? Is Darren fabricating, or was he misled? His claim that the RCMP knows the kids' location but wants the case to fade is bold. But the 800 active tasks, 600 tips, and 5,000 videos suggest an investigation in overdrive, not a cover-up. If Malehia hid the kids, why call 911? Why leave Meadow? Darren's story feels like a spark meant to ignite doubt, but it's crumbling under scrutiny. Darren's insistence that the kids are safe raises hope, but without evidence, it's a fragile thread. Janie's silence on his theory is deafening. If she saw Malehia send the kids away, why not say so? Is she protecting her son, Daniel, who allegedly shielded Malehia? Or is Darren's claim a ploy to shift focus from the family's secrets? His words keep the case alive, but they muddy the waters, leading us to question what really happened that morning. What happened to Lilly and Jack? Let's explore the possibilities, each a flicker in the fog of this case. Theory 1. They got lost in the wilderness. The woods around Gairloch Road are a treacherous tangle, muddy, steep, scarred by a 2022 cyclone. Lilly, possibly in her pink Barbie top, and Jack, in his dinosaur boots, could have wandered off, especially if they had undiagnosed autism, as Daniel suggests. But 5.5 square kilometers searched by 160 volunteers, thermal drones, and scent dogs yielded only a boot print and a blanket. Where's Lily's strawberry backpack? Jack's pull-up diaper? Survival in that terrain for a 6- and 4-year-old is improbable. If they're out there, why no trace beyond fragments? Theory 2. A hidden escape. Darren's claim that Malehia sent the kids to the Shubenacadie Reserve suggests a deliberate act to protect them from Daniel's alleged drug use. But this theory frays quickly. Malehia's 911 call at 9:40 a.m., her stunned demeanor on the driveway, and her leaving Meadow behind undermine it. Why call police if she orchestrated an escape? And why no evidence of a vehicle or a friend? Janie's account, lacking any mention of this, further weakens Darren's story. Could someone else have taken the kids, as Daniel's border check pleas imply? The clean ATV hints at a vehicle's role, but without proof. This theory hangs by a thread. Theory 3. A tragedy at home. The alleged drug-fueled chaos, Malehia's flight after the May 3rd altercation, Janie's evasive timeline, and the blanket's strange journey point to the trailer itself. Did Daniel's alleged meth use led to neglect, or worse? Was Malehia complicit, allowing a dangerous environment? Janie's RV cupboard, her resistance to searches, and the blanket's split presence suggest a cover-up. The RCMP's major crime unit, active since day 2, hints at foul play. With 60 interviews, polygraphs, and 7 judicial authorizations, are they circling a truth too grim to voice? The $150,000 reward signals desperation, but the answers may lie closer than we think. These theories are all we have to find Lilly and Jack, but they're slipping away. Subscribe now and hit the bell, because ignoring this case is like abandoning 2 helpless kids. Don't let their story end in silence. Your action could bring them home. These theories, lost kids, hidden escape, domestic tragedy, each pull us in different directions. The blanket's forensic tests, the ATV's cleanliness, Janie's half-told story, and Darren's unverified claims weave a tapestry of doubt. Are Lilly and Jack out there, waiting? Or is their fate sealed within the walls of that trailer? Beneath the theories and suspicions, Lilly and Jack are the soul of this case. Lilly, 6, with her love for sparkles and Barbie tops, and Jack, 4, chasing bugs in his dinosaur boots, were inseparable siblings whose laughter lit up Lansdowne Station. Their grandmother, Belinda Gray, spoke through tears. "My heart tells me these babies are gone." Yet she fights on, keeping their names alive. On June 3rd, dozens gathered for a vigil, leaving teddy bears and flowers at the Stellarton RCMP detachment. Daniel, too, released lanterns, a raw moment of hope or despair. These children deserve justice, and their community refuses to forget. Pictou County is a community in mourning. Neighbor Madison Spears, whose daughter played with Lilly and Jack, grieves deeply. Warden Robert Parker's words resonate. "We haven't found one iota of what happened." But hope persists. If you have any information, call the Northeast Nova RCMP Major Crime Unit at 902 1-896-5060 or Nova Scotia Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS. Anonymity is assured. Your tip could bring Lilly and Jack home. The Lilly and Jack Sullivan case is a maze of fractured clues and hidden truths. A blanket torn in two. A grandmother's cryptic timeline. Alleged drugs and a family in pieces. Is Janie shielding someone? Does Malahia know more? Or is the RCMP holding back a bombshell? Drop your theories in the comments. We read every one. Subscribe to Untold Crimes and Affairs and hit the bell. We're pushing for 50,000 subscribers to keep these cases alive. Until next time, keep probing, keep searching, and we'll see you in the next video.